The world has messed up, and they don't want you to know that they messed up. The powers that be knew that Columbus coming over here was a fulfillment of prophecy. They don't want you to know that. So therefore, they're going to orchestrate events today to make it seem as if prophecy is being fulfilled right now. Let me show you a little something. The world was well aware that their world is broken up into 4 parts, okay? And the Israelites were inhabiting a certain section, the 4th part, that the other nations were not allowed to come to. Okay, there's this book right here called The 4th Part of the World, an astonishing epic of global discovery, imperial ambition, and the birth of America. 432, the drop brought this to my attention a few years ago. Take a look here at this quote on the back of the book, okay? From 600 AD, the earth is divided into 3 parts, one of which is called Asia, the second Europe, the third Africa. Apart from these 3 parts of the world, there exists a 4th part, beyond the ocean, which is unknown to us. Isidore of Seville, 600 AD. Now, what you have to understand is that the Catholics, Columbus, the people in the three parts, they all knew that the Israelites were over in the 4th part, and that they were not allowed to go over there to them. The word holy means to be separated, and the Most High separates his people, keeps them separated. So when Columbus says, and they say certain things, it's like a code word. We discovered a new world. It was not a new world to Israel. It was a new world to the Gentiles. This was a new opportunity for them in 1492. But as you can see, 800 plus years before that, they were already well aware of these lands. They were already well aware that there was a 4th part that they were not allowed to go to. Now, in this book, I'm going to show you right now, you're going to see that they know our scriptures. They had our Bible. Remember, the Bible was, given, it was spread around where people could read it and things like that. And they know that all the prophecies that Yahushua had said were going to come to pass, needed to come to pass. Okay, so they were well aware that they were going to get their opportunity to come to the 4th part and destroy the whole 12 tribes of Israel. This is the Christopher Columbus's book of prophecies. And it's crazy because this is like one of the only first-hand accounts of what Columbus was really doing and what he was really thinking before he got his opportunity to come over here. But this isn't talked about because they don't want you to know that what Columbus was really thinking. He knew that when he was coming over here, he's like, I don't need maps. I don't need like my equipment, things like that. He knew that the Holy Spirit was going to guide him over here. He knew that all that other stuff was not going to help him, that it was the Holy Spirit that was going to bring him and guide him over here, because the only way you could get over here is if the Most High allowed you to. So it was a sign when they showed up on these lands that we already knew that it was a wrap for us, because the Most High had kept these other nations away from us. Okay, but then the fact that he allowed them over means that he was fulfilling his prophecies, which was eventually that the northern kingdom and the southern kingdom were going to be oppressed together. That's Jeremiah 50 and 33. So that was prophecy. And see, when all these people talk about these prophecies being fulfilled today, well, when was the northern kingdom and southern kingdom oppressed together? That was talked about in the book of Jeremiah, chapter 50, verse 33. Now, that has not been, according to the Gentiles, like none of that stuff matters. But I'm like, look, it's written, it had to be completed, and that's what happened when the Gentiles were allowed to come over here. Columbus knew this. The Gentiles knew they were going to get their opportunity. The Gentiles already knew that eventually that we were going to mess up, and they were going to get their opportunity to come to the 4th part. Okay, take a look here at chapter 16, okay? And we can read this part right here. My dear master, as we know between ourselves and in my private reading that we are the sons of the patriarch Jacob, I have a great fear that in regard to ourselves, what was prophesied by the mouth of Isaiah in chapter 30 will be fulfilled. See, all these things have to be fulfilled. O Israel, the Lord will put you to death and will call his servants by another name. This is why we are being called by bywords: African American, Brazilian, British, Irish. because this was all prophesied to happen. Now, it can't be Ish, because Ish said that they've always known, their heritage. They've never lost their heritage. But see right here, O Israel, the Lord will put you to death, all 12 tribes, and will call his servants by another name. I fear, sir, that those servants are the Gentiles. He's going to use the Gentiles to take us down. Okay, to whom that name must be given. So the Gentiles are going to be called by our names. The Gentiles are going to be called Israelites. They're going to be called God's chosen people. Okay, so again, I fear, sir, that those servants are the Gentiles to whom that name must be given. According to what Moses says, the Gentiles will be at the head and the unbelieving people, that would be us Israelites, at the tail, as has been our lot now for more than 1,000 years. This is prophecy. And Columbus and the Gentiles were well aware that there was going to be a switch, and they were going to be the head and we were going to be the tail. Now here in this book, Columbus is talking about these prophecies, okay? Take a look at the bottom here where it says Matthew chapter 24 and 14. And this gospel of the kingdom will be preached in the whole world. See, they were aware of this, okay? So they knew they were going to get their opportunity to come over here as a testimony to all nations. Nicholas of Lyra in the right margin, okay? And the gospel of the kingdom will be preached, that is to say, the gospel of Christ, which brings the kingdom of heaven in the whole world, namely in 3 parts of the world before the destruction of the city of Jerusalem by Titus and Vespasian. So it was disclosed in Asia, Africa, and Europe. See, they already know. 3 parts we've already been around, and we've already disclosed that, our gospel. And that would be India area already. That goes with Asia, correct? They knew that these lands were actually called, over here in the Americas, were called India Superior. And they were not allowed to come here. So right here, let you know about the whole, they're already aware of the whole 3 parts. So it was disclosed, their gospel, in Asia, Africa, and Europe, where certainly the gospel was preached. While Peter was still alive, the faith was proclaimed in Italy. And see, it's very important to understand that, like I showed you guys those pictures of the ancient Mexicans, these prophecies were given to so-called black people, as you call them. In chapter 29, it says, since what has been fulfilled by the Christians was first told not in Christian times, but long before, the Jews themselves, who have remained enemies of the name of God, and whose perfidy or deceitfulness was not concealed in their prophetic books, do possess and read the prophecy which says, O Lord, my God and my refuge, in the day of distress to you, the nations will come from the ends of the earth. Because we were in the 4th part, all these other nations are coming from the other 3 parts. They're coming from the other ends of the earth. It says, truly, our fathers worshipped false gods that were of no use whatsoever. Behold, now it is done. Behold, now the nations come to Christ from the ends of the earth, saying those things and breaking the false gods in pieces. This even being of a great good, which God has shown to the church, diffused everywhere. Okay? So as you can see, these nations were aware of the 3 parts. They're aware that their gospel had to be preached to the 4 corners. They knew about the 4th part. They knew they weren't allowed to come here. When they got that opportunity to come over here, Columbus knew that his maps, his equipment, the stars, all that stuff was not going to be able to help him. That the Most High had to bring him over here. The Holy Spirit had to be bringing him over here. These are the prophecies that really have fulfilled what's in the scriptures. The northern kingdom and southern kingdom being oppressed together. Now see, they are trying to hide these prophecies because they're the ones who have fulfilled them, and their time is coming to an end. So now you're getting these, them going into the land, that was the fulfillment of Ezekiel 37, the valley of dry bones. And we talked about that last night. No, it wasn't, because the NIV version switched it from the whole house of Israel to just Israel, because they don't want you to realize when the Most High restores us, it's going to be all 12 tribes. Not going to be 2 tribes. It's going to be all 12. So that just shows you that they know that these events are orchestrated, and they're not fulfillments of prophecy. They already know this. The thing is, you don't know. And the Most High is giving you opportunity to hear this truth from his people. He's getting a chance to show you all these different books, here a little, there a little, bring all the puzzle pieces together for you to get a much better understanding of what is really going on. And now the ball is in your court. Now it's up to you. Are you going to listen? Or are you going to continue on with Babylon? It is up to you. Shalom.